We have a special guest today. His name is Joe Dombrowski. Joe's a stand-up comedian and teacher based out of Seattle. He's best known for his viral spelling bee video that landed him on Ellen. Joe has toured domestically and internationally as a headliner and performs locally in Seattle at the Comedy Underground, Club Comedy, and Laughs Comedy Club. Joe, thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Also, you need to know something about me. I can't hold myself together when somebody uses the word nipples, and I just about lost my fucking mind. So thanks for that.
Yeah, you got to make money to support your podcast, and
Nipples are a way to do it.
Nipples, morning meat, whatever it needs to be.
Morning meat. I think the phrase you used was salty concoction. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they just hand me this stuff. I got to read it. So
You're on another level, man. I love it.
you had a podcast like for your sponsors? What did you have on there?
Oh my God. Okay. So when my first podcast, like I was telling you before we started recording, was like super teacher. Like I had to keep it like very clean because I was still teaching at that point in my life. So I was always like, shit, I'm going to get busted. And my boss listened and it was just like, blah, 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 right? So I was super like, ooh, I'm like a Mary Poppins. I'm just super, I'm the community voice of the world. You know what I mean? Like very, very fake. And I listened back to it. I'm like, you fucking fake bitch. Like, who are you?
I feel like
we can swear on this, right?
Yeah, okay. That's fine. I feel like that happens with like everything though that you do content wise, where like this podcast in like a year and a half, 2 years, we'll probably listen back to it and be like, God, what were we doing? Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right.
But that's just the nature of the beast. But also on top of that, you had to deal with like implied censorship. Like,
it was trust. It was not implied.
Yeah,
it was for real.
That's very weird, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll get into like how you get started and stuff, but that's a tough position to be in creatively, where you're like you wanna put out content that's a certain way, and then you have to worry about going into the break room and your boss just being like,
can I just like right off the bat start with a story?
Yeah.
You're gonna like this. Oh, so I actually have been doing comedy longer than I was teaching.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I got into comedy the year before I got my first actual teaching job. So I'm coming up on my 11th year in comedy right now, and I taught for about 10. So I was doing it, and I remember my first job, I was like, I don't know if I can continue doing comedy anymore because it's just like such a dichotomy of like content. You know, here I am like teaching, like these kids think I'm fucking Jesus, you know, like I'm sitting there and I'm like, literally, you have no idea that I was high out of my fucking skull less than 24 hours ago. And you're just like looking up at me with like the safety of a newborn puppy. I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy. But then I'd go on stage and like tell everybody about that, you know? So I was so worried. And I was like, I was going to quit for a minute because I was like, I don't think this is going to happen. Like teaching pays the bills. Comedy was just like a pipe dream at that point that I really was into. And then I had parents accidentally come to my show. And I looked out in the audience and I was like, it's over for you right now. This is your last show ever.
Yeah.
And after the show, they were obsessed. They loved it. They were like,
shit.
Yeah. And I have to put it out there too. Like my Detroit, like comedy friends out there, that show, everybody fucking killed. Everybody nailed it. Like everybody was on 10. So I was like, thank God. Like it wasn't just like one person who was good. We all fucking killed it. And then they were like, yes. So then it started to infiltrate the school with the other parents. And then all of a sudden I had my staff was like, we want to come to a show. Because I didn't talk about it at work. I didn't talk about doing comedy.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like here it is. And then my boss was like, I'm going to come too. And I was like, fuck. And I don't know exactly what the joke was, and I don't know the premise at all, but I made some I was in like this phase still where I still like resorted to like nasty shit if I like needed laughs or whatever.
Yeah.
But I said something about like somebody's pussy being so crusty, something about cottage cheese. I don't remember. And my boss loved it.
Whoa.
Came into my classroom the next day and like made a cottage cheese reference and was like dying laughing. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Isn't that
Dude, she loved it. And she like embraced it so hard. She was like, this is your thing. Like, this is your creative. Keep going. Keep going. Keep trying. Like, this is amazing. And she 15 shows by the end of the school year. She was so into it.
Wow.
And the whole staff was. That was the best building I ever worked in my life. So that was a gift, dude. That was a gift for sure. I think if I didn't accept that job and I took another job, or that staff didn't get a hold of me when I was so young, dude, I was fucking 22.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a very critical point in your life, right?
Yeah.
I probably would not be doing comedy still.
So did it end up turning though, where she no longer liked the cottage cheese stuff, or like what?
No,
what
not her. Not her.
Oh, it was someone else.
Yeah. So
that makes more sense. I was like, how did it go from loving that to just new manager?
Well, okay, so teaching pays really low, right? And that particular job paid really, really low.
Yeah.
And I made a decision.
Did it have anything to do with being in Detroit?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, actually. So teaching is a super underpaid profession, like across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan's one of the lower states, but they're definitely lower.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't have to do with being in Michigan or Detroit. So, and I was actually, that school was in a suburb of Detroit that was known for being pretty affluent. I was not in one of those affluent buildings in the district, but for where it was, whenever I would tell them where it was West Bloomfield, if anyone knows where that's at. People were like, holy shit, like West Bloomfield pays that dismal. I'm like, yeah, girl, this is still teaching. But so I jumped ship and I went to a neighboring district, and it was night and day different. My boss and I would clash heads all the time. Like, he was just like not into it. He would always say like, where are your priorities? Blah, 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 blah. What are you doing? And shit like that. And I was just like, fuck.
And he listened to the podcast?
So my podcast started after I left that job. So I said all up to this point, I didn't have that podcast until I was like 27.
Okay.
So I'm still like at this new job. I'm like 24, 23.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just like not into like comedy and stuff like that. So then I had to like tame it back in, and yeah.
Sometimes it feels like situations like that, it's like that person sees that you have some kind of outlet, and I think it at least as that person, like I've been there before, it feels like maybe jealousy, or like they don't like that you're enjoying life, you know what I mean, and have this way of like channeling those emotions and enjoying yourself, and it's just they make it as difficult as possible, because it's not really something that, like, you could have that boss A that's super into it and supportive, or boss B that looks at it 180 degrees differently. And does it really affect either one of them? Like, it's what you're doing after work. I mean, if you're naming the district or specific people, I guess that's different, but like,
right. Well, he didn't like it. Like, this is the one thing that I agreed with him on when he would come back at me and not want me to do it. So I started to become something in Michigan with my comedy, right?
Yeah.
And I would have to take more time off to go drive and headline shows and do some more shows and stuff. So I was asking for a lot of time off. And that's really when he started to put his foot down, which at the time I was like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. But he's not an entertainer. He's got to look out for what he's got to look out for. And having a teacher gone a lot, is that the best thing for the school? No. Yeah. So that I get. But the way around it was just kind of like, I'm like, dude, seriously? Fucking kidding me? Mm-hmm. But like, I convinced myself for so long that I could always do both. I was like, you'll always be a teacher, and like you'll always do comedy together. you're making it like people don't do this because they don't have the drive to do both. And then eventually I looked at myself and I was like, you're going to end up in some serious hot water if you continue to do this, or you're not going to be a good comedian because you're so filtered. So now my way to do both is I'm substitute teaching when I can, because I do love teaching and I do love working with kids. Like, it's definitely a passion of mine. But comedy's like my thing, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how I got to do both.
I was curious about that because it's like, how did you make that transition?
Very swiftly.
Very swiftly.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So I guess we can just, was it the viral video that really launched everything, or what?
Yeah, so the video, so I was like putting out content on a like really slow and inconsistent basis, because at that point my name in comedy was all based off live performance, which was cool. And then I put that video out and it went like insanely viral, 20 million views overnight.
Damn.
A week later I'm on Ellen.
The video, we'll put it on like the IG page,
Yeah.
but just for people that haven't seen it, like, you want to explain what it is and then like what the idea was behind it, and like.
So essentially, there is nothing more like heartwarming to me than like laughing, like getting a room of kids to laugh. Like, it's just so, I would just look into the classroom and be like, God damn, like they have like no worries right now. Like they're just loving life. Like, I would love to make my kids laugh.
Yeah.
So I was constantly fucking with them, like all the time, just like doing stupid shit with them and like playing jokes and playing pranks, and like they loved it. And because of that, we like always had a pretty good bond where they would like respect me and like trust me as their teacher. So it was like, it was a good thing, right? And then
you just had fun throughout the process.
For sure. And if I'm not having fun, like, bitch, this ain't gonna be good for any of us.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I do that, and then I got this idea, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna fuck with them on April Fool's Day, obviously. And I gave them a pop quiz spelling test, but I made up all the words, and I just gave them a bunch of bullshit words with fake letters and all this shit in it, and they were so pissed at me. But it went pretty viral. Funny fact, I've never said this before on air. People don't believe me. I made those words up on the spot.
Oh, really?
On the fucking spot. I didn't write it. It wasn't like a set.
Yeah.
I just did it.
I was rewatching it before this, all the hyphens, and like, it's super funny. And just their reactions like growing throughout the video of just getting angrier and angrier.
Oh, dude, they were so pissed. And the cool thing about that too is that particular class was like, those were my homies. Like that class and the class before were my best classes ever in my career.
Random question. Does the name Heather Lyles ring a bell? She's a Detroit comedian that's also a teacher.
Heather Lyles.
Yeah.
No, but let's look her up.
In Chicago. I think that's her last name.
She live in Chicago? Or does she?
She lives in Detroit. This is always exciting for the listeners when we...
I might know her
Heather
face.
Kyles.
Heather Kyles. I whispered that like a creeper.
Yeah.
No.
She's super funny. I met her in Chicago, and
can you send me that though?
Yeah.
I'm doing some Michigan shows in the fall, and I actually don't have a feature and a host yet, so I might check out her work.
Yeah, she's wicked. She was super nice. So with that video though, was it planned? Did you, because you set up the phone and it looked really like natural and like just spur of the moment. Was that basically it, or?
Yeah, I mean, so
because you couldn't have been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a video for 20 million people today, like it.
Right. No, so here's the thing. The truth behind it is, I knew the concept was funny, and I knew that my family and friends really liked to see and hear stupid shit that I was doing in the classroom, and it got a lot of traction when I would do that. So I was just like, oh, I'm doing this prank, and I remember being like, record it. And I was like, cool. So I like recorded it, and I actually posted it to my personal Facebook. And I was like, oh, my family and friends are going to find this funny, so make it public so they can, and that was my thought.
In this, what year was this?
2017.
Okay.
So not that long ago. 3 years, coming up on 3.
And how, like, you put it on your Facebook, what, do you go to lunch or something and you come back and it's just like...
No.
What?
This is the crazy part. So I kind of saw the views were a little bit higher than usual. And by higher than usual, I meant like they were encroaching 1,000, which 1,000 views, I was like, oh my God. At the time, I was like, this is insane, So they were getting closer to 1,000. I was like, that's a little weird. And I just like went on throughout my day. And then I got a couple texts like towards the end of work that were like, this is so crazy. My friend who you don't even know posted this video. And then I went to their page and it was you. And I was like, haha, that's nuts. Whatever. And then I was out to dinner that night with my best friend in Detroit. And I got a phone call from my childhood friend, Erin. And she was like, you're not going to believe this. Oh, she moved to Tennessee. So she's calling me from Tennessee. And I'm like, what? She's like, you're on the fucking news right now. I'm watching you in Tennessee on the local news. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So she took a video of me on the news in her house. And I was like, this is nuts. We have to go right now. We went back to my house and we set my phone down. And this is the point where my Instagram and Facebook and all that, like I didn't have notifications turned off, which now obviously I have it all turned off. And we sat my phone down and it wouldn't turn off. Like it wouldn't turn off. Like
this was bouncing.
Yeah, dude, like notifications were just scrolling. Like if I was taking my finger like this and it was just like boom, 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 and we had the sound on. My friend Ellen has a video of this. I'll ask her to dig it up. And we were just like looking at my phone on the table. We're like, what is happening? And then we didn't really, I was like, we kept saying to each other, we're like, is this viral? Is this viral? We're like, we don't know. And then celebrities were starting to redo it, repost it. And then I'm like, this is nuts. And then a week later, phone call from Ellen. 2 days after that, I'm on Ellen.
That's insane.
Yep. A month after that, I'm on again. It was nuts.
So how did that, like, they just called you out of the blue? Or how did they even get your information?
So they originally wrote me on Facebook, and it was a producer, and she was just like, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah from the Ellen Show. Would love to connect. Here's my number. And I was like, okay, I was on family vacation now because this was the day before spring break, April Fools. I was like, call me whenever you can. So then she called me, and she's like, oh, my God, you sound like so fun and friendly. Can we Skype tonight? And I was like, yeah. So we Skyped, and then, we Skyped, and then I had to do 2 more Skype calls, and then went like 5 days of radio silence, and then she called me back, and she's like, we're flying you out tomorrow. School district did not want me to do it, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, they told me straight up no, and I said, fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's the right response, I think, in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So you went on there. I watched the video, like, and, I mean... I'm not trying to like out you or anything, but like
you're good.
Like doing Ellen and being part of that community, like that's a pretty badass, Like it seemed like that carried through a lot in the interview. Like you acknowledged that in the moment, and she was super sweet about it. Like, did you hang out with her at all, like off camera or? Like,
this is so fucking crazy that you're saying this. It's like almost like you knew some shit happened. Did I tell you this before?
Mm-mm.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so back it on up. Oh, shitty.
You're good.
Whoops.
You're good.
Oh, I'll spit it all on me, and I'm good on your couch. Whoops.
I like that. That's your go-to.
Shitty dick.
Shitty dick.
Well, like when something bad happens, you say a bad thing, and shitty dick is
not a good thing.
It's
no,
not a good thing. It happens.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. So So I get to LA and I get to the studio, and what happens is like a producer will kind of like prep you because you're fucking like on a million, and they're like, this is how it's gonna go, this is what it's gonna be like. And I was like, okay, is she gonna like come back here and like say hey? And they're like, no, the first time you're gonna meet her is on air.
Oh wow.
And I was like, no. And he's like, yep, you're not gonna meet her until you're in front of the audience and all that. I'm like, okay, fuck. So then he's prepping me, and it was maybe about, it was short before I hit the stage. And he was like, I just want you to know that like we're all aware about your comedy. I had talked to him about being a comedian, like we know you're a comedian. And he was like, this is not your last comic standing audition. And you know, you're painted a picture here of the teacher you. So we're sticking to that. And it was very direct, but not mean. But I was like, cool, got it. Just happy to be here. Like, I don't give a fuck. So Ellen had been aware of that too. Like, and I had no idea. I was like, okay, this is the producer telling me. I don't know what this woman knows about me or whatever. We do the interview. And then it cuts to a commercial break. And I was told that typically during a commercial break, like she might get up and leave, like don't be offended, blah, blah, blah. I'm okay. She stays. And the cameras are off. And she turns to me and she's like, well, I hear you do comedy. And I was like, yeah, I do. And she's like, that's great. She goes, you're really funny. And I was like, thank you. And she leaned in and she goes, no, you're really funny. You should do something with that. And I was like, this is, first of all, I've idolized this woman and her comedy for so long. Like,
she's super funny.
Oh,
like,
dude.
Outside of just like what she's done on TV and all that stuff.
Yep. Her stand-up. Like, I used to memorize her stand-up. Like, in the early 2000s, like, my friends and I would quote it. Like, she had so many funny bits, and I take so much of how she is as a comedian to what I am as a comedian. So to hear that from her, I was like, holy shit. And then I went to go like ask her like how, like what do I do? And the cameras turned back on, so I had to do it. And then we never circled back to the conversation. But I left the stage with like this fire under my ass, and I had been working on my hour, and I was like, she believes in you. I was like, she wants you to do this. So I hit the ground running the day after I got home, and that's when I was like, this is like, you've made it this far in comedy. You're kind of a big fish in a small pond at home. Like, it's time to get fucking real serious about this. And I wouldn't say that I wasn't, but now I was taking it to a whole other level, and I did.
And what did that look like too? Like, because you went from that to now headlining like big spots. Like, I mean, your calendar's pretty full. Like, you're working. Like, what happened in between from the video and then Ellen to now? Like,
so immediately there was a little bit of a stigma in the comedy crowd, right? So obviously tensions were a little bit high. People were like, this was an accident. Like, this doesn't mean you're a better comedian than you were before. And I was like, yeah, but I'm pretty good. So I started to get the stigma of being an internet celebrity or internet famous. And I was like, why? Because I had a video, like, do an amazing thing for my work, like for my art.
yeah.
You know, like, so because of that, now I have the stigma attached to it. And
there, I mean, the irony too is you did that. Like, you took the extra steps to create some additional content that other people weren't doing.
Right.
And it wasn't like that just happened on its own. Like, you had to have the inspiration and to think about doing it and take the chance. Like, you could have put that video up and 7 people saw it, and then, 100 people make fun of you for making the video.
Right.
Like, you put yourself out there. People never acknowledge that piece of it, and it's, oh, he just got lucky. Or, I mean, it's always people that have that jealousy,
100%. Well, what I would always say to people, I was like, it's not like I slipped and fell on ice. Someone was recording it and it went viral. I did comedy and it went viral. I had an idea, I executed it, and I put it out for the world, and it went viral. Like,
and the reason why it worked was because you blended these two really important things in your life.
Which is comedy, right?
Comedy, teaching, your relationship with those kids, and taking advantage of, not advantage, but like utilizing that moment and capturing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is that any different from movies or anything else? I mean, it's the fact that you thought to do that. Obviously, it was great because 20 million people saw it,
right.
you know?
See, and that's the thing. I don't consider myself to be an observational comic. I'm very much a storyteller in my work. I tell a lot of what shit that's gone on, and I almost exclusively talk about me and my life. So that's exactly what I do. I pull from shit that's happening to me, and I talk about it. So hello, that was the same fucking thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was doing. So I have this like stigma built around me, and people are like, "Oh, you're just an internet guy. You had a thing go viral. You're just this." And I, from that moment, was one of the first times I had built all this shit up, and now I'm having a hard time getting booked. Bookers didn't want to book me because they're like, you can't just like have this thing and like come in and now who the fuck are you and like all that. And it's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So couldn't get booked as a headliner. Couldn't get booked. And then at the same time, I know to capitalize on the internet thing, so I'm consistently putting out my work. I'm putting my comedy online, and my audience is growing. And I'm like, I have an audience here. I'm gonna take advantage of the audience. So tried to get my hour booked. No one's taken the bait, and the bait that they were taking, they're like, oh yeah, you can do your show on a Monday night, and your show will start at 10. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So I said no.
So who are these bookers, by the way?
So I was cold calling clubs at this point
all
too.
right, gotcha.
Because the bookers that I knew were not like giving me like headlining spots and things. So I'm like, whatever. So then I was like, I have a little bit of money saved, and I'm gonna take a super risky shot here. So I took almost every single cent of money that I had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, I'm fucking dead serious here. Like, I spent all this money and questioned how I was going to eat the next week. No joke. And I called a theater in Detroit. I called the Laugh Factory Chicago. I did Detroit, Chicago. I called a club in Boston, and I had 2 other cities. I don't remember where they were. And I reserved the club like it was going to be a private event, and I paid a down payment to like have it for the night.
Damn.
And because I wasn't going
How much is it to like reserve a club?
Thousands.
Like,
it was like thousands.
Because I've been to Laugh Factory in Chicago, and it's a spot. Like, it's a
Laugh Factory Chicago. I do have to say, they were the only one that did actually book me for real. Okay. Like for real. So I didn't pay a down payment or whatever. But all these other theaters and places, I'm paying a down payment to like have the theater for that. Oh, I did in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh also. Okay. So I pay my down payment, and I'm on my own 100%. I set up an Eventbrite to collect my tickets. I do it on my own, like completely on my own. I'm selling my own show. Like, here we fucking go. Every single show sold out. Every single show sold out. So then I was like, fuck with me. Like, let's go. So then now I have leverage. So now I'm calling clubs, and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you know who I am as a comic. Here I am. Here are some stats on me. I've done these shows all around the country, selling out 300, 400, 500 seat theaters 2 times a night. Like, they're like, yeah, like, when do you want? So now I'm getting booked for real, like the normal way. And then from there, I like got spotted by my manager, my agent, and yeah.
So, okay. So when you started booking the clubs, then you got hit up by an agent?
So, no. So then I started to kind of like make a name for myself in the club scene. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not an alt comic. I'm pretty mainstream. I'm in the clubs, and I made some comedy friends. Do you know Zach Noe Towers?
Mm-mm.
great guy. He was a JFL New Face 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. I don't remember. So met him in comedy, and we kind of hit it off. And he was like, "So blah 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 blah. Who's your manager?" And I was like, "Actually, get this. I don't have one. I'm doing this all on my own." He's like, "You're fucking joking." I'm like, "Nope, 100% on my own, out of my own pocket." He's like, "Please let me introduce you to my manager." And I was like, "Okay." Had no fucking clue who this was or what he was doing, and it was Levity. Do you know Levity, the comedy management?
Isn't that Ari Shafir?
It's not Ari.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it's like Bert Kreischer, Sebastian Maniscalco, Whitney Cummings. Like it's, and then I knew Judy Marimel, who is arguably the best biggest comedy manager in the business, and I knew she was with Levity. So then when I found out he was with Levity, and I was like, oh my fucking God. And then I met his manager, and his manager was like, yeah, for fucking sure. And I was like, no, this isn't happening. This is insane. And I signed with them. And then from there, your managers kind of like your managers build your team. Like they get everyone around you. So they were like, okay, you're going to do a smaller show in LA. We're going to invite a bunch of industry people. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did the show. There were some people from different networks, blah, blah, blah. And then there was about 4 or 5 agencies that came, and they set up meetings, and I had meetings with 2, and I went with CAA because CAA, I don't know, I had like an insane
It's not a bad agency to be partner with.
It's pretty fucking insane.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. And like, dude, like, let me tell you, I call them Team D, everybody on Team D, like, I'm not a super religious person. I'm not like really spiritual or whatever, but I swear to fucking God, something came down from the top and was like, you've been working your ass off. This is your dream. This is what you've wanted. I was a stand-up comedian for the talent show when I was 8 years old in 3rd grade. Like this is something I wanted. And it was kind of like these perfect people were just like plucked and put into my lap. And like, I am obsessed with my team. Like they're the most amazing people in the world. And like, it's just going, man. It's just fucking going.
Dude, it almost doesn't sound real.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the names that you're saying, and like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of comics will hear this podcast and like, because we just have thousands and thousands of listeners, but like, it's like what you're describing is like a dream come true for almost any comedian.
Yeah. Yep.
Even the bad ones, and it's just nuts. Like, I mean, and it's funny because sometimes I think about this as you really just need one thing to pop, and you obviously have to do the work, but like if you consistently take shots and consistently just do the work, that's all you can do. If you sit around and don't do shit,
how the fuck are you going to make it happen?
Nothing's going to... I mean, that's where you end up being like, I don't know, 15 years in, and you're at the open mic and you're bitter, and like... And if that's all you're trying to do, like, that's cool too. Like, everybody has different goals, but I didn't get into doing comedy to be upset doing comedy. Like, it's supposed to be fun, and it sounds like you're having a lot of fun. Like, it's great hearing stories like that, to just see that there are different paths to getting success. Like, it wasn't, you don't have to just go to Just for Laughs, or you don't have to win a comedy competition and all that shit. Like, you can work around the traditional paths to find success. And as long as you're doing the comedy you want to be doing, which seems like you are, I mean, when you get a manager and an agent and you start working the clubs, like, do they start kind of influencing what you do and don't do on stage? Or
so no, I wouldn't say they influence what I do, but they are, it's the leading fucking managing company, and it's one of the fucking top in the company. So I really, and like my managers were like groomed by one of the best managers in the business. So they they watch endless comedy a day, you know what I mean? And all the people that they rep and blah, blah, blah. And they'll come to my shows and definitely critique my work and help me, but they don't tell me what to say, and they don't talk to me about what topics they want me to talk about. But like, for example, my manager like came to my show and he was like, love this, would love to have you do more impressions of the kids, because he loves the parts when I do the impressions of the kids. So I started building on that and building more of it too. And then my other manager was like, yes, love that too. Would love to have a little bit more of a deep dive into like the reality of you as a gay teacher, and kind of like just like touch into that dark spot and make it funny, because it's part of your story, and it's like what people kind of like are wanting to hear. So then I built on that, and then they kind of like took my hour, which at the time before I had them with me, I was like, this is my hour, it's perfect, it probably can't get any better than this. And then with their notes, bro, holy fuck, I'm really proud of what I was able to create, and like with their help, just took it fucking next level, man. I'm like so humbled by it. It's insane.
It's interesting because, like, even just you talking about them giving you that feedback, and kind of like when I'm writing for stand-up, like, it's such a hard thing to write for, because depending on your style, right? Like if it's observational or storytelling or whatever, but I rarely do I like try and write on a specific topic. Like I have to have something come to me, and then I have to like sit with it and toy with it and like find the humor in it. Like it can be as simple as, I don't know, like why fire hydrants are always associated with dogs taking pisses, right? And then if I go up on stage with that, sometimes I can get lucky if I'm just riffing it out, but like a lot of times I kind of have to sit with it and like play with analogies or other, and everybody has their own style, obviously, right. But like if somebody was like kind of guiding me into my writing, like I think it could be beneficial, because it's kind of like having a writing partner, almost, but like in some ways too, when I was thinking about this interview, it was like, man, I have to imagine there's kind of higher stakes for you now, like feeling like, you really got to deliver because you have Team D. Like, and when it's just Team Adam over here and like just doing it for the sake of doing it, like that's a different reality. And I have to imagine there are times where like it's great, like you get to do these other opportunities and stuff, but also there's pressure, like
so the thing, there's Team D, right? But like
it's a big D too.
But Team D, it was Team me solo for 10 fucking years. So I'm like, I always think about, I'm not a cocky motherfucker. Like there are a lot of comics who walk up there and they're just swinging their dick around like they're, and I look at them bomb and I'm like, okay. Yeah, okay, you're fucking great, right? And I don't believe
it's like a better than the crowd mentality.
Hate it. Drives me fucking nuts. I'm not self-deprecating, though. I know I'm good, and I know my strengths, and if I wouldn't get to where I'm at right now if I wasn't good. Let's be real, right? But I think the way that I got to this point, 10, pushing 11 years later, is because I never deny criticism. I want it. One of the first things I said to my managers too, I was like, listen, don't fucking sugarcoat shit. I want it. Like, give it to me. Because everybody sees something that you don't, right? And like you either trash it because you don't want to take the criticism, or you can, listen to what they're saying and pick the parts that you want to take out of that and start to tweak what you're doing. Criticism is the best thing that can happen to you as a comic. So I'm always listening what people say, and people kind of be like, can I give you a couple? I don't give a shit who you are. If you're just a fan, if you're whatever, if you're my managers, I'm Asians. Like, I want to hear it because that shit can make you so much better. So I think the way that I got here is to kind of like be humble the whole time and just take other people's thoughts, but then, you know, dissect it. Like, do I want to really do that? Do I not? And like, I don't know.
That's not common though.
Right.
You know,
Well,
like,
being a teacher, lifetime learner, right? Like, I love learning. So I always want to get better. I don't think I'll ever be satisfied with where I'm at in the comedy game. So that's
good. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just sometimes like that criticism, it can feel like you're under the microscope and people are like ripping your limbs off your body, but it makes you better. And like, I do think there's a good way to ask for it and receive it. You know, like, I try not to go up to somebody and be like, hey, this is what's going on that I saw in your act. Like, I always try and like say, hey, do you mind if I give you some feedback? And like, if somebody's talking about, you know, really like super sexual stuff and it's weirding the crowd out, like, I think a lot of comedians, they confuse like a reaction with a laugh. And like, I struggled with that a lot early on, where I was using shock humor to like get a reaction, but that's not the same thing as a laugh. And I don't know where I heard this, but it's almost like salt. Like, if you use a little bit of salt, sex, shock humor, it's going to enhance what you're saying. If you take the top of the salt shaker off and dump it on the food, you can't enjoy the humor because all you're getting is that. And and it, nobody like sits you down and explains that to you, you know? Like, you go up there like a dancing monkey and you're like, oh, this is like, laugh at me or whatever. But it's hard to understand early on, like, are they laughing at you or are they laughing with you? And then I'm thinking too, like, those additional stakes that you have. And I mean, where you did comedy in LA, like, how did you get to Seattle? Like, what, you were in Detroit when all this stuff popped, you got management, and then you moved out here? Or how did that transpire?
It has nothing to do with comedy. My partner Morgan got a job out here.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, we looked at each other. I was like, I can teach anywhere and I can do comedy anywhere.
Hell yeah.
Preferably I want to do it somewhere where comedy's happen. But so it was like, no question. I was like, let's go. So
where are you living in Seattle? Or
yeah, we live in Ballard now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you can do, like, have you thought about doing stints in like New York and LA just for?
Oh, I do all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like, the stage time here is a little bit more, like, I mean, I have a buddy that's living in New York right now, lives in a van, so it's not like he's living like, but it's a sick van. But I
love that.
He does like 4 to 6 spots a day
in
New York.
Yeah, that's the only difference.
Yeah. And sometimes I wonder, like, what are like, it's great to be on stage, but what are you talking about after that third set? You know, like, you gotta like let it marinate a little bit.
Really? No, see, my whole thing is I used to love doing so many, as I never deny a set. Like, if someone's giving you time, especially early in your career, take it. And I've noticed that a lot of Seattle comics are afraid to repeat material. But like, you should be but you do that set until it's fucking perfect. Like, every time you do it, something's gonna change, and then you keep the good and you sift the bad. But like, make that set perfect. Like, why do it one week and then the next week do a totally different set when you were still working on that shit? Like, it wasn't great, but it can be great. You keep doing it. So that's the perks of getting up. The more you can get up, because you can make a good set great faster.
Yeah.
But so the truth is, like, yes, I was in that period where I had to like get up as much as I could and blah blah blah. But now, like, touring's my bread and butter. Like, so I don't want to be doing too many spots, because when I do spots, I'm working my material typically.
Yeah.
Like even when I get put in like a showcasey or something like that, I'm somewhere in there, I'm working material, and it's to work on my new hour, which is going to be going up soon. So,
so how do you, when you're touring, are you doing new stuff too?
not typically.
Okay.
No. So when I'm on the road, I am doing my hour show, which is called Indoor Recess.
Mm-hmm.
And that is pretty consistently the same. Depending on how the audience is, I'll chisel out about 10 minutes somewhere in the middle to try new shit if I can.
Mm-hmm. If
But-
they're loose and
Yeah, if they're feeling it, if we're feeling it together.
yeah.
And then I'll go from there. But what I tour with is consistently the same. So, but what you see in everything you've seen of me is not in that show.
So that's new stuff.
Pretty much everything I do around here and all my spots that I do around here is me working shit. And then for the past like month, a little bit over a month, have you seen me do the Australia bit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got into NACA this year. Do you know what?
Yeah,
NACA
yeah,
is?
the college.
Yep. So I'm going to be performing in the National NACA Showcase at the end of the month. So everything that I've been doing for about the past month has been preparing for that to get that perfect. But I'm proud of it, so I think I'm going to keep it and put it in my next hour too. But mostly everything that I do in Seattle is me working new material to eventually go into another show.
I was always curious about how that, when you're touring like that, because I have to imagine there's a handful of people that like they got their hour and that's their hour, and it's like they built that up, they're not interested in like building another act. And because I've heard like Bobby Lee, he has his hour and it's been his hour like forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's whenever I went and saw stand-up comedy before, I think the drive to like work new stuff for me is like when I saw that, like I went to the store last year and I saw a couple
In LA?
comedians. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like it was like Ian Edwards and a few other comics, and I went 2 nights in a row and I saw them do a set the first night. I was like, this is incredible. Then the next night they're doing a lot of the same material.
Mm-hmm.
But they were making adjustments and tweaks and stuff, so I got to see some of that. But also, it felt like some of the like magic trick was taken away. You know, like, oh, this isn't. They're not just talking. Like, this is.
Oh, I love that you said that.
It's part of like the process, right? And it's part of the art form. But I always like to see those changes in the like. What I don't want to see is somebody doing the exact same thing every single time with how they're saying it, what they're saying, or the way it's presented. And if you get it set, then it's set. But it's always my preferred comedian is like somebody that it feels on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't necessarily have to be, but like. But there are pros and cons to both. I mean, if all you're doing is new stuff, it's going to be pretty choppy.
Yeah. Well, yes. And that's always been my goal is I don't want it to sound scripted. Like I don't want anybody to know that I wrote this, and I want to create this experience with the audience where you think that I'm just talking to you and this is the first time I've ever said these thoughts, which is total fucking bullshit, which is fine.
Yeah.
I just don't want you to know that because I got a 9:00 show tonight too. I'm going to say the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're not catching on, that's cool. I do, however, have a little crew of groupies that are I think they live in Jersey, and they come to a lot of my shows that are around that area,
Mm-hmm.
and they have seen some of this same material, but they've also commented to me, they'll be like, this story just keeps getting better. And I'm like, I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's cool.
Well, it's weird, too, because comedy has changed so much in the past, 15 years. Like, I remember, I saw Gaffigan for a NACA thing when I was at Purdue, and, he would go perform. He'd have his CDs, and people would yell out the bit. Like, they'd be like, Hot Pocket! And he would do
That's
the
his
Hot
joke.
Pocket
Yep.
bit. But that was his signature bit. other bits too. Like I saw Bob Saget.
Oh
He
my
did
God.
Bob Saget did NACA at one point. Like I
Whoa.
don't know if they just didn't.
Must have been a different time.
It was a completely different time, but like people yelled out shit, and he would do the bit. So like it was almost like your favorite artist,
Mm-hmm.
where they have the songs that you like a lot, and they would play your favorite songs. Now it's like it's expected that you have a new hour.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I know Carlin did like a new hour every special that he did for HBO, but I don't think it was the norm for a really long time that you constantly have new stuff. Like I think Andrew Dice Clay would have his material and then he would work in some new stuff, but like just wasn't. It's changed so much.
Well, I think that there's a couple of things. One, the day and age, like comedy is like so accessible. Like I can just go on a Netflix or Showtime, or I mean Netflix or Amazon or whatever it is, and just like can watch specials. So you got to be pumping out new shit, right? And it's not. It didn't used to be like that. Like if I wanted to see this comedian's hour, and if they don't have a Showtime or a comedy special, anything out there, I got to go to the club to see it, and it's not always like that. Which is why I like. Do I want a special? Absolutely, but like I'm not chomping at the bit for it right now because like I want you to come see me. I want you to see this live because I thrive in the live space, right? But I don't know, it's like it's not the same with pumping that out like that, and like do you got to pump it out so fast? There definitely is a movement for that, but my mom says this all the time. She saw a showcase and it was like Sebastian Maniscalco, John Mulaney, Eliza, like there were just a shitload. And I don't remember who it was, but she said someone was doing a joke and the audience was shouting for them to do this signature joke. Mm-hmm. And the comic was like, why do you want that? I'm giving you all new material. Why do you want that? And my rebuttal is, do you listen to the same song more than once? Yeah, because you love it. Like you want to, it's like an experience. You want to do it. And there's one joke of mine that I know will turn into my thing that people are going to want to hear over and over again. And I'm not going to be that comic that's going to deny it. Like, fuck yeah. Like, you like that? Like, here it is now.
Yeah.
Here I am, 45. I'm 45 years old. I'm going to do the same shit because you like that? Fucking yeah. With new shit built in. But a lot of people get bent out of shape about that. I don't get it.
I think there are pros to both. Like, it's, I think it's up to the artist, right? Like,
yeah,
whatever. I mean, if
this
is an art form, like
oh yeah,
so,
oh dude,
mean,
don't like that. I get testy with people on that one. It's art. Like we're fucking artists.
I was watching Stanhope's first performance, and he was talking about, is this an art form? And like, I can't remember the verbiage of it. I'll play it for you after this, but it's fucking like he just turned the whole thing into a bit. But fuck, what was I saying? I don't know, but this would be a good time for the storytelling piece of the show.
Can I pee first?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Don't edit.
So you got a story for us about your class pet rabbit.
Yes. Ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a total like animal person big time, and I always had class pets. Like we've had so many different kinds. And my second year teaching, we had Rosie the reading rabbit. She was a lion head rabbit, which I don't know if you know what that is, but she had like long, beautiful hair, and you had to brush her. Like she was fucking gorgeous, and she was a bitch also, by the way. But the thing is, I would let her like run around the classroom, and the kids would read like in their spots. And if the rabbit jumped into your lap, you would read out loud to her. So it was kind of a cool way for me to get them to read out loud, so I could like be close by and hear them, and yada 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 yada. But Rosie was a fucking bitch, and she would always like stamp her feet and like bite her cage and make noise like while I was in the middle of teaching. I'm like, here's the thing, shut the fuck up. Yeah. So every once in a while we would take Rosie outside because she likes to eat like wild grass and herbs and stuff. And I don't know. I just thought it was good for her to get outside and like enjoy real life. Okay. So we're outside on the playground and like Rosie's like out there eating and I'm like, okay guys, like she's gonna be fine. Like let's like just like give her some space or whatever. Okay. I'm maybe less than 40 feet away from her, like with all the kids by me. Shit you not, a hawk comes, swoops down on the playground, grabs her, and flies away. The kids are screaming. The kids are going absolutely insane. And I don't know what to do. I'm sitting here, I'm like, how do I, this is unconsolable. They're traumatized.
Are they all like, Rosie?
No,
like
I do remember them screaming her name, but
like I feel bad laughing, but
No,
just
oh,
the
yeah.
picture you painted is funny.
I can paint about it, but they're screaming like blood curdle, like just like action. Like, Rosie's gone, Rosie's gone, Rosie's gone. Like, and I was like, oh my god, and like.
You just thought it would be good for the rabbit to get some air outside.
Fucking air and to like eat some weeds or whatever. So we're sitting in, we get back into the classroom and there's tears, there's pandemonium, and I sit them down in a circle and I was like, okay, you guys, let's talk about it. And this one kid raises his hand. Now this kid, I always love the like ADHD, like crazy kids who got a lot of personality, like, because I see myself in them. This kid raises his hand, and this is my kid who you never know what the fuck they're gonna say. So I like took a chance, but like he seemed calm, and I was like, okay. And like the kids are going nuts, and then they quiet down, and I was like, yes, what do you have to say? And he goes, it's the circle of life, and it moves us all. And I was like, you don't know how bad I needed that at this time. And like a couple kids started to laugh and started to break, and then it like then turned into like an okay thing. But I mean, like not okay. Like there was one girl who lost her fucking mind. Yeah. But yeah, that happened. They let me keep my job, which was great. And
did you bring in a bunch of rabbit keychains, like rabbit?
God. No, I was actually a dick. Like I probably should have taken her cage home like that day, and it was there for like a month.
Just a reminder.
Well, because a couple kids thought she was gonna come back.
Oh,
like she'll find her way home. Bitch, she's in a hawk's stomach. Like,
yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's a long, like flowing haired rabbit.
Oh my god, she was so gorgeous. I do have to say, like she left in a very majestic way. She was just like raised up into the heavens. I was like, and thank God the hawk didn't go like on a nearby tree or something where I could see it.
And it was like a house-broken rabbit, too. Like, it had no chance. It was probably outside for, like, the first time.
Okay, housebroken or whatever. Strong.
Whatever it would be. Like,
she shit all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
So,
but
I never said this out loud before, but I'm kind of glad that because, like, I don't know.
It's just a mess.
Well, the truth behind all this is I was actually in the process of looking for, like, a sanctuary to, like, give her to, or like the Humane Society. I actually had already taken her to the Humane Society once, and they wouldn't let me do it.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, do you know how many rabbits are put to death here because of people who just drop them off? And I was like, actually, no. But like, what? Like, let's make me feel bad about it. That's your fault that you're killing them. They're like, you need to look for a sanctuary. Girl, I spent fucking months looking for a sanctuary, and in the meantime, the motherfucker got eaten.
Was there any part of you
that was sad
when you let that rabbit outside that day that thought that something could go sideways?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
No, not even a second. Not even a
the true
millisecond.
Confessions of a rabbit killer.
No, this was literally like, God, I wish I could like see my reaction, but I was just kind of like, fuck. This is the worst.
It's
Yeah.
I had this mental image of a bunch of kids on a playground looking up at the sky upset, and there's just a like
beautiful. Her hair just like
I want to get our artist to like draw a reenactment of this.
Oh, please. Yes. I can't wait to see it. Because fuck, that was horrible. And I'm sure every single one of them remember that.
Oh yeah. How long ago was that?
7 years.
So there's
7 years
yeah,
ago.
some
Wow.
like high school kids now that are.
Yeah, they're in high school. They
Yeah.
are. Holy wait.
We had this rabbit once.
Yeah, they're seniors. They're seniors in high school. They're like, one time my teacher fed our rabbit to a hawk. I was like, oh, well.
And now he's a stand-up comedian.
Right. I should have like quickly went into a food chain lesson.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I had one bonus question for you before we wrap it up. Who would you say all time is your favorite comedian?
My all-time favorite comedian is, I get asked this question quite a bit, and it's so hard to answer. I can't give you one answer. Okay.
Top 3?
I got a way to put this. So Ellen was probably the first comedian who I actually like watched and started to like enjoy comedy, and I idolized her and like see a lot of myself in what she does. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then she changed my life. So hello.
Yeah.
Which that was crazy to come full circle. So Ellen,
The circle of life.
and it moves us all. Yep. Sebastian Maniscalco is a huge family favorite. My family is just all about him, and we have so many memories around watching Sebastian together. I've gotten my mom birthday presents to go see him live, and now we're with the same management company, which is insane.
Yeah.
So Sebastian really hits home for me
And
too.
he was one of the first, like, not first, but modern kind of just build your brand. And like, I mean, he was on the top 10 for top paid comedians, like, on
He just
Forbes,
won
like,
Comedy Tour of the Year a couple nights ago.
damn.
Yeah.
Like, he's just been, and I remember hearing stories that like he ate shit at the store for a really long time.
He ate shit in a lot of places. I actually talked to Judy because when my mom found out that I was with Levity and she put together that like Sebastian's with Levity and blah, 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 my mom fucking cried, just straight up cried.
Mm-hmm.
Like that I was actually doing something with this hobby. You know what I mean? But my mom said, she's like, my mom always says, you are not shit until you play the Fox Theater like Sebastian. The Fox is like the big theater in Detroit where all the big time comics come. And I was like, yeah, okay, got you. So I told that to Judy. I was like, yeah, it's kind of funny. My mom says I'm not shit until I'm playing the same place as Sebastian. And Judy looked at me and she's like, well, you can go ahead and tell your mom that you already are. Because I am. I'm like booked in the same clubs where he got his start. And it kind of was a cool thing to put into my mind too. Like this shit doesn't just happen. Like Judy and him have been together for, I don't know the exact number, but it's like over 10 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So Sebastian, and then these last two, there's, okay, honorable mentions first. Like Tom Segura cracks my fucking
He's
shit
so funny.
up. Cracks me up. Nate Bargatze, like so funny. I love Nate because he's crystal clean, but yet just hysterical. There's a great interview that I'll send you with him that you should listen to. That was actually done in Seattle. But my tied for third, are two people who are very drastically different. Michelle Buteau. Do you know Michelle Buteau?
Mm-mm.
So funny. So funny. I really like Michelle Buteau because I've watched her comedy change as she changes as a person. So when she first got started, she was talking a lot about like her, just like things that were happening in her life. And then she got married. She started talking about her marriage. She's in an interracial marriage. So it's great to hear her takes on that and like how, and then she had twins. And now she talks about, having twins and having babies. And it kind of hit so hard with me because people are like, oh, you're out of the classroom. What are you going to do now? And it's like, no. Like, I'm not even married yet. Could you imagine how my conduct's going to change then? And then I'm going to have kids and I'm going to have a perspective on that. It's going to be a gay marriage. And I'm going to have kids with another man. Like, there's shit you ain't heard from me because I haven't even lived it yet. So she kind of gives me hope in that way. And she just knocks me on my ass every fucking time I see her.
And she has that progression too, where you get to see her change.
Yeah, like
her
you can go back
comedy.
and watch your old shit and be like, oh, I loved this. And then you watch her new shit and you're just like, oh, I so love this. Comedy Central released something on her recently. I'll send you that also.
Cool.
And then tied with her is Krista Stefano.
I don't think I know.
Stop it.
It's
You don't know him?
no.
Oh my God. New York comedian. So fucking funny. He has.
I mean, I'm
He had,
better with faces than I am with names.
I'll show you right now. He had a bit that he did at the Cellar, and he did a joke about 9/11. You might have heard.
Oh yeah. I've seen him. Yeah.
This guy.
Yep.
Yeah. He's fucking cracked my shit
Dude,
up.
there's just so many comics right now. Like
It's
there's so
comedy's
much,
hot. It's
so
big time.
many good comics too.
Mm-hmm. It's a good time for comedy, my man.
Yeah, it is.
But the market's saturated, so it's also very hard.
Yeah,
so. But if you can make it now, power to you.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So he's tied for third.
Yeah, with Michelle. Yeah, I love them. So those are like three, but like that is probably I watch a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
So again, I'm always going to comedy in live. So for me to answer that question is like very, very difficult. But
Well,
yeah,
that's good though. I mean, it throws me off when people they don't like. I went and saw Norm Macdonald 2 nights ago,
mm-hmm.
and I feel like I have to do that. Like even though there are nights where I'm like, okay, I'm not getting up, but I'm going to see this guy like put on a clinic basically, and he destroyed. Like it was, I mean, the shit he was doing, getting away with doing, where he was doing it, it was just like, it was another like magician type moment. And seeing those people that are that established do it, it's like you always walk away like, okay, well that's a unique way of doing it, or I can try adjusting setups that way. Or, like I'm always trying to like learn by watching too, and like watching other comedians like what not to do sometimes, you know, like, and it's very subtle, but I don't understand the like being a comedian but not being a fan of comedy. Like that, what the hell? That's weird to me.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
But I will say this, though. Take it with a grain of salt, because there's more value in doing comedy than watching comedy. You'll get better faster by doing.
Yeah.
So many people who I talk to, they're like, well, I study by watching other comics and like seeing what they do and like picking apart. I'm like, yeah, but like, what's your ratio between watching and doing? Because you're literally dude, there's going to be so many times in your career where you have these thoughts and you're like, this is so good, this is so funny, and then you get up on stage and you fucking eat your dick for 10 minutes and nobody thinks it's funny. You're just like, well, I guess that's a me thing.
Yeah.
You know, but like that's the type of shit you don't know until you do it. So
But I love that aspect of it too, because that's my favorite part of the art form is that it's not about me. Like good comedy requires the crowd. Like it's a two-way street. And if I'm going up there and I'm just trying to shit my material out on you, sometimes it might work if the crowd's really hot. Other times it's not going to. Like I don't want to ever stand up there and feel like I'm funnier or smarter or better than the people there taking in the comedy. And a lot of them might not like me. Like that. Not everybody likes you in your life. You know, there's going to be, I mean, we were talking about this before the podcast. Like, there are going to be places where people just,
yeah.
And I've lived in 10 states, so I'm kind of like used to being the new person and like having to deal with that. But to me, like, the best I can do is just be myself and hope that some people are going to like me. Some people might not, but this is what I find funny. And like, as long as it's not like hurting anybody or, you know, but it's fucking hard still, dude.
I say this all the time. Have you ever watched Crying Laughing or Dying Laughing?
Mm-mm.
It's on Amazon, so go watch it like today.
Okay.
But it's just like it's a plethora of comedians talking about comedy. Okay. And I don't remember who it was, but somebody said like, we're crazy people. Like we go up on stage and say our thoughts to a crowd of audience, and we do it in a way where we can get hundreds and thousands of people to have a simultaneous reaction at the same exact time. That's fucking witchcraft, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And like we do it. Like that's what comics do. And I think about that every time I get like a really big applause break or a laugh break, and I'm just like, this shouldn't be able to happen. Dude, I did a show on Wednesday to 3,000 people. I was so humbled when I got the applause breaks because I was just like, this is so cool to me because I've done this joke time and time again in the clubs where on a Monday where no one's there. It's 15 people, half of them are comics, and it gets a good laugh, but you don't really know how good that joke is. And then I did it in fucking Edmonton, Alberta for a crowd of 3,000 on Wednesday, and it got the same length. But I was just like, I just made 3,000 motherfucking people laugh from that same joke that I was questioning if it was good or not. So it's like, don't deny, but you don't know if that shit's good until you're up on stage working it and doing it and working the crowds and working the houses.
And you're in that position to where, like, it's contagious, like if you put 3,000 people together and it's a good joke, you're going to get that validation real quick,
Yeah, but dude, like you do that same joke for 10 and it's just like
it could just be eating shit. Like
or it's great. Like I don't know. I love this so much. I love comedy.
It's so complicated
stupid. Yeah.
though. Like I think it circles back to the point you made. Like you have to be kind of crazy
insane.
Like it doesn't make any sense for a person to be like, oh, I want to go up and stand in front of the lion's nest and like just see if this works or not. Like it, but when it works, it's worth all of that. Those bad moments and tough moments, and like it does make you look at yourself really carefully too, and like what you said about being humble enough to where you're taking that criticism, like not a lot of people do that. I mean, I've interviewed, I don't know, this is probably interview 19, and like half of them have been comics, and it's just, they always have a unique way of looking at the world, and it's fucking fun. Like I enjoy doing it a lot. So
yeah.
I appreciate you coming on, man.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I like legit love talking about comedy. So
it's great. Is there anything you want to plug or promote or just?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's get in. Let me let me bring my fucking tour schedule up real quick. Cut out this dead air time. Okay, so my website is mrdtimes3.com. People can follow me with that handle too on Facebook, Instagram at mrdtimes3. These are my upcoming shows.
So this is gonna post. Let's see. We're doing this a couple weeks early, so it'll post. I think the. Hold on. In early March, I want to say.
Oh, March? Okay. Good to know. So all my tour dates are on my website.
It should be... Yeah, sorry.
March? Okay. All my tour dates are on my website. There will be more added to this list before this episode comes out. I just had a crazy February. I was all over the place. But for March 13th and 14th, I'm going to be back in Edmonton at the Comic Strip. Then I have a Texas tour. I'm going to be in San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio starting on the 18th, Houston on the 19th. Then I have a full weekend in Dallas at the Improv there. I'm on the 20th and the 21st. Then I'm in San Francisco at Cobb's Comedy Club the 27th, 28th. 4 shows there. I'm at Denver Comedy Works in April. Do you know anything about Denver Comedy Works?
I've heard it's really good.
Dude, I'm fucking shitting my pants. It's one of the best clubs in the country. Like, comics talk so highly about it. When I talk to my comedian friends, and they're like, bro, you're going to fucking love this place. I cannot fucking wait. And then I got a Michigan stint coming up later in the fall. I'm going to be in Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, and Royal Oak. I'm in Tampa later that month. I'm going to be all over the place, man. So just stay posted. MrDtimes3.com if you want to come to a show. Would love to see you. Seattle's going to be on that list, too. Keep it posted. Homeboy, listen to this. My Seattle show, my agents called me a couple weeks ago, might be at the Moore Theater.
Oh, wow.
I will fucking die.
I was just there on Thursday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that where the show was? At the Moore?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
1,800
cool.
people.
Nice, yeah. So it's probably going to be the Neptune or more. So, but like they're owned by the same place, so we'll see what happens. This is all super fingers crossed. So don't quote me on any of that. But also Tacoma Comedy Club too. I did a feature there a couple weeks ago. I fell in love with the place. The staff's
It's a fun
incredible.
room.
Have you performed there?
Yeah,
Dude, love it.
it's super nice.
Love it. Love
Yeah.
it. So might be doing some shows there too. We'll see. But yeah, stay tuned. I would love for your listeners to come out to a show or catch us together on the scene. We're
That'd be
literally
fun.
on stage together all the time.
Yeah, let me know when you find out about Seattle stuff, and I'll put it in for future episodes.
Oh yeah,
too.
cool. We'll do.
So,
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
and your IG and Facebook one more time.
IG is at Mr. D times 3,
Okay.
and that's the same on Instagram, Twitter, and the newest edition, TikTok. Dude, that'll fucking suck the soul right out of you. Like, it's crazy. And then just Joe Dombrowski on Facebook and YouTube.
Cool. And we'll put up some videos just of like the spelling
Yeah, do it.
test and anything else. I'll see if we can play around with some artwork too. So
Cool.
it'll be fun. Thanks so much for coming on, man. This
Totally.
was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love it.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening, and we're gonna leave you with Jaga.
I just make the waves, I don't write them. I can hear the lyrics in my spirit as I write them. Why you wanna walk and talk just like them? I can't get caught up in all the hype and the excitement. I just make the waves, I don't write them. I can hear the lyrics in my spirit as I write them. Why you wanna walk and talk just like them? I can't get caught up in all the hype and the excitement. My wave pool, my wave pool. Welcome to 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 my wave